Gaza, where the Israeli army has once again bombed homes in Rafah. At least 14 people have been killed. 2 women and 5 children are among the dead. Dozens more have been injured. Israel is expanding its offensive into Rafah, where tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians are seeking refuge. Al Jazeera's Hani Mahmoud is in Rafah in southern Gaza. So yesterday, Hani, Anthony Blinken told the Israelis that they are killing too many civilians in Gaza, but there's no sign that the Israeli military are slowing down. What did you see overnight?
Yes, sir. There are no signs of this is going to end any time soon, or we're going to see at least a reduction in the number of civilian casualties or the level of destruction. But as of early hours of last night, extending all the hours of the night and early hours of this morning, ongoing constant artillery shelling along the borders. There is also heavy shells from the naval force all the way to the coastal road. That's a western part of Rafah city, including Al-Mawasi area, where displaced Palestinians have been sheltering since the beginning of the war. But we're talking about an intense bombing campaign targeting more residential homes in western part of the city, in the central part, as well as to the eastern side, very close to the Egyptian-Gaza border, claiming the life of more civilians, including women and children. And it's important to point out not only what Blinken has been pressuring the Israeli government to do, but also since the Security Council requested an increase of humanitarian aid. As a result of that, we see more death and destruction, and more civilians were the victims of ongoing bombing. And since the ruling of the International Court of Justice demanding Israel to stop all genocidal acts across the Gaza Strip, we only see in the contrary more death and destruction, and more people are dying as the bombing continues. So far, the attacks concentrated on Rafah, that's in the southern part of the city, where more than half of the population have been crammed here since the beginning of the war and expansion of the military operations, as well as in the central area. And it's very consistent with what Netanyahu stated yesterday, who said there are 3 areas that the military operation are going to be expanded, including Rafah and Deir al-Balah city and the western part of Al-Nusayrat refugee camp. That's in the central area.
Yeah, Hani, I wanted to ask you about that because there's a lot of talk, as you well know, about a possible deal to end the fighting. But yesterday, the Israeli Prime Minister says that he is aiming for total victory. So how are Palestinians talking about this? How are they thinking about this? How are they absorbing it?
Well, so far, the Palestinians are looking forward to to seeing the day where all of these acts of war are going to end and into their ongoing suffering and killing is going to stop. But so far, the Israeli narratives is based on what it had started right after October the 7th. It's a total war. The objectives of the war haven't been achieved yet. And Netanyahu is insisting on not ending the war until, as according to him, the elimination of all Hamas power on the ground. Now, for the people on the ground here, the talks about a ceasefire or a possible truce is mainly the torture before death, because in within the past couple of months there was 1 week of a ceasefire, and everybody was hoping there would be an extension to it, but unfortunately things turned very bad, and there was a surge in the bombing across the Gaza Strip. More civilian people were killed. But here, what's going on right now, they don't want this to be happening again. They want an end an end to the war and all acts of war across Gaza. They don't want to live through another moments of reprieve where they had just to wait for another cycle of intense bombing. They are hoping that it's going to end, and they know Netanyahu is very selective and he's not going to be bending easily, because he knows as long as this war prolongs, it means he is staying in power, and he will do everything possible to continue the war, to save himself from all the other related issues in Israel. But for people here, it's time, as they are growing exhausted, they're growing tired, they're stressed, and they want to see an end to all of this.